There were a lot of Pixar veterans who were leading up the effort, and we also had a lot of young artists on board.
Hoppers, huh? We put this into this.
Yes, this into this.
Congratulations, Daniel, Nicole. Incredible job. I love this movie from top to bottom. I feel like you kind of said it the best. It fits within the Pixar lineage, but it's so different than everything else. You do a great job of letting the scenes land and letting the comedy play. Can you talk to me about your approach to comedy in this film?
Yeah, I mean, there's a very specific process we had, which was very collaborative, but we were very visual oriented, meaning that we drew through the jokes in a lot of ways. I mean, certainly people pitch things and we laugh verbally, but a lot of it was us having story artists in the room with our writer and me, coming up with funny ideas and making each other laugh and building a really good kind of collaborative environment for everyone to feel safe to pitch the craziest ideas possible. And I think when we kind of do that, it almost becomes an improv game, and it allows us to just have a really fun time and laugh together. And when you're laughing, I think it just shows up on the screen.
It does.
So I think we just had a great time doing it that way, and I think that's what led to some of the tone that we have.
I think what makes a Pixar movie great, going in, it has to, first of all, the animation needs to be out of this world gorgeous, which it is. It needs to have heart, which it does. And you need to walk out of the movie feeling better than you did walking in, which I did. And it goes to show that there's this big collaborative effort from your team, because everybody feels like nobody's better than anybody else. And we've seen that when we did the gag thing earlier. But I want to ask you, Nicole, because this is unlike any other Pixar movie I've really seen. Can you talk about the team that was assembled to put this movie on together?
Well, I would say it was intergenerational.
Sure.
There were a lot of Pixar veterans who were leading up the effort, and we also had a lot of young artists on board. And I think that was actually one of the keys to our success, because when we first started building the story, and, I think Daniel has mentioned before, there was some resistance in the studio to some of the humor or the rules of the world. And I think that new sense of rules of the world was one of the things that came from the younger generation. And it was exciting. At first we had to kind of work through that taste, that sensibility, and as you say, blend it so that it was something that was a classic Pixar film, but had this sensibility that felt newer and fresher. It was exciting, but it was hard.
I can imagine.
It's kind of like a new taste in food.
Right. Well, Daniel, I want to ask you, because you spent 6 years on We Bare Bears, and then 6 years making this movie. Now, one is 2D animation, and this is like a 3D, robust animated film. What did you learn in that process from going to 2D to doing this?
I mean, the biggest thing is the amount of people that you end up working with on a Pixar movie, and the amount of control you can have, and the amount of detail that you can put into it. And certainly that can be also a curse when everyone can touch every little shard of grass. But on Bears, there was only so much that we could affect. Once the storyboard was done and it went over to the animation studio, or that went overseas, you just get back what you get back, you do a couple tweaks, and that's kind of it, it's done. So when you come to Pixar, everything is done under this roof, and I am guiding every part of that process. I'm going to that department, to the lighting, I'm going to layout, I'm going to sets, I'm going to characters, story. It's just like every department I get to have an opinion on, and I get to shape, and I get the time to tweak and to direct. And having that level of control, is tough because it's a lot to handle, but you get to really curate the best version of this movie you possibly could. And that was a really gratifying part of the process.
That's amazing. Now, I was watching the movie. You guys mentioned this in the press conference earlier, but when I saw the movie and sat through the credits, I saw special thanks to Damon Lindelof. He's one of my favorite creators. Did Lost, he's doing the Lantern Show. What did he contribute to this film?
Very early on, during the pandemic actually, this was very, very early on when the story didn't at all look like this version. I mean, there were beavers in it, at least at that point. We just didn't have a writer yet, and I think we just needed some help, someone to help us think through ideas. And Damon Lindelof was available. He just had time, and everyone was at home, So he was lovely enough, and he liked Bears. He watched it with his son, so he knew the show, and he knew who I was. So he did a session with us for a day. He was very nice. It was all on Zoom. And I think the thing that I learned the most from Damon was seeing how he worked. I think I showed him all these pieces we had. Oh, we have this, I have this, I don't know where this goes, I don't know where this goes. And you can see how a veteran like him, who just knows how to tell stories and has done so much, okay, well, if you have this and this happens, this probably happened, you might want to do this, and this probably happened, and then he brought me all the way to the end of the movie.
Wow.
And it's not the movie we ended up making, but I saw how his brain worked. I'd never seen anyone work like that before. But seeing someone model for me how you can think through story in a very succinct and quick and clear way was really the gift that he left me with. And, and I never forgot it, so I was very happy we could put him in the credits to thank him.
It's incredible. Well, look, thank you guys so much for your time. This movie is incredible. I cannot wait for people to see it. It's so good. It's so funny. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.